Hey there, welcome to the UkeStuff channel and welcome to this full UkeGuide review of this instrument. This is the Enya Hello Coco kit for kids. And it originally sold for $49.99, shows up currently as I record this video as unavailable on Enya's website. And when I most recently looked, there was still one of these available. Rich Davis, one of my friends, another person that records about ukulele on the internet, had bought one of these for $22 or something and talked about it, so I went and bought one too. It is the Enya Soprano with a couple of changes. Different strings, different graphics, and different tuners. Other than that, it's the standard Enya Soprano without a gig bag. Because this is an ukulele review, let me quickly talk about what's included. The melodica is strange. I just noticed that this top piece actually comes off and, just is open, and they're probably for cleaning purposes, but this is not a standard melodica. It does have a hand strap in it, but the finger patterns are strange here. If you looked at this, you would probably, as a musician, think piano. Well, and your mind goes, wait a second, it should be sets of 2 black keys and 3 black keys. It's not. What you have here is your standard major scale going from do to do, and the C is actually, the B is actually a C, which is used in many places in the world in place of T like we use here in the United States. So you get your scale, and it's all in that standard major key. You also can go down do ti la so, and you can go up do re mi. You can play chords. And then back to, I mean, it works, but the fingering pattern is strange, as is the tuning. You're stuck just playing major or relative minor in the key of A minor. A real melodica can be larger or smaller than that. This one I don't have the mouthpiece in right now, but you can see it's like a piano keyboard. So it's this is a little confusing to me. It also said that there's supposed to be a key that you press here to be quiet, to play volume, and I do not see that on either of my melodicas. Again, I am not a melodica expert. This one I just bought this summer, and there is a button to push to help you clean out the melodica from spit and things like that, but I don't see a button to change the volume. Then the drums, the shakers are just rather inexpensive egg shakers. They're gonna work. That's probably very loud on the recording. And then the drum is really nothing fancy here. It's just sort of a plastic head on a drum. Although I may keep this around at school because we have a song that I do with my kindergartners called Listen, Listen, Here I Come, Someone Special Gets the Drum. Listen, listen, here I come, someone special gets the drum. And I think my kindergartners would respond well to that. It's not a great drum, but it's there and it's available and it is included in the package. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at some subjective categories, then we're going to look at the specifications, and then I'll give it a summary and UkeGuide score. And if you want to support the work on this channel, there are 3 things you can do. You can like this video, you can subscribe to the channel, and you can always buy me a cup of coffee to say thank you for making this content at www.buymeacoffee.com/UkeStuff. I also want to mention that I have 2 chord melody book arrangements available there, and you can also find them on the Apple Bookstore and in the Kindle store, as well as in print at Amazon. All right, let's begin with the subjective categories. First of all, cost. At $49.99, this was, it's a decent price for an instrument without a gig bag, but with some other instruments that you get. But at $22, this is a steal as long as you can deal with this, and we'll talk about that later. So $49.99 is the list price. Recent prices are under $22. The value then really exceeds the price, particularly at $22. So you're not going to be able to find another instrument of this caliber for cheaper if you can still get it for that. In terms of build quality, it's going to be flawless. This is a injected, molded polycarbonate with some carbon fiber in it. It is just like the Enya Soprano, except painted colors and with the graphics on it. It does not have an adjustable saddle, and the action on this one is a little bit higher, and we'll get into that later. And it has different tuners, but ultimately it is a very, very standard Enya high quality build, and it's all put together for you. Now, on a negative, I would let you normally see what's happening on the inside of this instrument, but there is not a hole large enough on the inside of this instrument to allow me to go in, and it does not have the side sound port like the concerts or tenors do. So we are not looking at the inside of this instrument. Now, in terms of appearance, this is not plain, but this has to have some sort of appeal to you for you to want to play it. So it does have the what looks appear to be a chicken wearing part of an eggshell, perhaps in space, and then some space creatures here. So it could appeal easily to boys or girls, but then again, and it is a real instrument, so a true real instrument, but then I'm not sure how long you're going to keep playing it beyond that with this graphic. I actually wish, in terms of appearance, that they had done stickers instead, that you could put stickers on it, and then after you were done with the stickers and not wanting you could take them off. That would have been a better solution to me. I don't think it would have hurt the resonance that much. So the question is, if you like the Enya Nova, maybe you could go and buy one and paint it too, but at that point, you're already getting the price point probably of the Enya Nova Soprano anyway. So, I don't know, if you can handle the print, there you go. Otherwise it's pretty plain, but it does have that special Hello Coco print. Nothing on the back. In terms of availability, actually I think these are going to become very difficult to find. I don't think Enya really found the American market for this product and therefore are closing them out. In terms of playability, what's interesting is that this shares the same body as the Enya Nova Mini Soprano, and I will do a comparison video of those, but this one has a couple things that the Enya Nova Mini does not, and it also has some problems that the Enya Nova Mini does not. First of all, it has these Nile gut strings, which I do not think helps its playability or its sound, but it also does have side position markers, which my Enya Nova Mini does not. Now, it's possible that they're making these Sopranos today with the markers on it, but that is in part of the paint and in that neck rather than my Enya Nova Mini, which does not. So in terms of playability, action is higher on this one too, which that is confusing to me because I would think that out of an injection mold, everyone would turn out the same, but the action is right on the edge, particularly at the 12th fret, of being too high, and you cannot adjust it. I mean, you could file down the polycarbonate, but you're not going to. Playability is not as good as the Enya Nova Mini that I own. I think you get a louder sound here. It's a good sound when it's not going out of tune. It has more darkness than the fluorocarbons, but I think I like the Enya E6 fluorocarbons far better on this instrument. That C just wants to keep dropping. And it's still out of tune. So I'm going to just keep working on that as I talk here. So just to make sure that I made these points, I think the strings are the issue in terms of sound quality. The strings make it a little louder. There we go. It's just going to go out of tune again. The strings are also less stable than the Enya Nova Mini's strings. And it ends up, I think, making it darker. And even though it's a louder sound, I don't think a better sound. So if I was going to buy one of these for a kid, I would replace the strings. When I talk about sound quality, I pull up my iPad and I record into the app Tonal Energy Tuner to let you see what I am hearing as I play. And it shows the harmonic energy. So here is the C chord. Now there is more sustain there than I'm seeing on the app right now, but you can see what's happening with the high frequencies. It's very muted in its high frequencies, and that makes sense because of these strings. If I were to do a side-to-side comparison, which I will do in the next video between this and the Enya Nova Mini, which I actually have here, this is not a good combination with strings. I think that was a mistake, and Enya should have just stuck with the fluorocarbon strings they had originally had. It's just not as good of sound, and it ends up being darker, less bright, and just less clear overall. So yeah, definitely change the strings. on this one. Now we've talked about the subjective categories, let's go over the specifications. This is a soprano scale ukulele with a scale length of 13.75 inches from nut to saddle. It has 17 frets with 13 to the body. It's a little unusual. It does have side position markers, unlike my Enya Nova Mini Soprano. It is a double bout body with a cutout that's very stylized. It says rock about it. The soundboard is polycarbonate and carbon fiber, just some carbon fiber threads in there. The back and sides are polycarbonate and carbon fiber. Same with the fretboard, is the same material, just not painted. And the bridge is the same material. The saddle is not adjustable. Same as the net is made out of that same polycarbonate and not adjustable either. And there is, or does appear to be, a slight radius to the fretboard, which is one of the selling points of these Enya Novas over other plastics. The finish is a flat finish. I guess you call that satin with the Hello Coco designs on the front. Be nice if you could take that off. The overall length is 21.625 inches from the top of the Enya headstock to the bottom. There are no strap buttons on this model. And it weighs 1 pound, 0.5 ounces, which I believe is heavier also for some reason than the Enya Nova Mini, and it can't be just paint. The tuners are open geared tuners of a different kind than the Enya Nova Mini with yellow buttons. The action at the first fret is passable at 0.47 millimeters, but the action of the 12th fret is way too high at 3.05 millimeters, and you cannot adjust it. So I wish we could bring that down, but this one is too high, and that shocks me because the Enya Nova Mini was set up so well. The nut width is almost 35 millimeters, 34.96 millimeters, and the space between strings at the first fret is 9.08 millimeters, which is nice and roomy for a 35 millimeter nut with 29.60 G to A. The depth of the neck at the third fret is taller also than the Enya Nova Mini that I own. It is 22.15 millimeters from the top of the strings to the bottom of the neck at the third fret. And the neck design is not too C-shaped. It does seem to be sort of a tempered C-shape rather than a really deep C-shaped neck. It is comfortable to hold and play, and in many ways I feel like Enya improved on the neck versus the Concert. The Concert actually has rather tight string spacing, even more so than this, and they did a good job in designing this one off of the Enya Nova Concert to make this model as well as the tenor with wider string spacing, which is good. All right, that is the specifications for the instrument. Now let's get into the summary. This instrument came out quite a while ago as a pack of stuff for kids, even before COVID. So it wasn't like something that you bought just for your kids during COVID. And again, you get it with a sort of melodica that looks like a traditional wind instrument with strange keys. You get a drum and a striker or a mallet for that drum. The mallet is sort of a foamy material. And then 2 egg shakers with it. That was all $49.99, but they're being sold right now as I record this video for under $22. That is a steal for an instrument, even if you don't love the Hello Coco. The problems I'm seeing are really with the action, which is too high, and the choice of strings. So Enya sells their other instruments with fluorocarbon strings. I don't know why they changed it on these. Maybe they didn't think the fluorocarbons were hard enough for kids, but I'm having continued intonation problems even while recording this video because of those strings. Also, you don't get a gig bag for it, although in all honesty, I was not a big fan of the original Enya Mini gig bag as well. It was one of those hard shell foam cases that really didn't protect the instrument and really wasn't easy to carry. I think they may have addressed that or changed the gig bag, which would be great, but by all means, and I used to tell Enya directly when I knew somebody there that they should just sell a gig bag for the soprano, concert, and tenor that people could buy that would be more of a traditional gig bag that would fit this particular shape because it's thinner than your standard ukulele. That all said, for $22, this is a steal, but it does have a couple issues which generally, mostly can be rectified with different strings. That 3.05 height at the 12th fret down here, yeah, you can adjust it, but I think you could live with it with the right strings. These are not the right strings for it. So what rating would I give this instrument? I'll give this one a 4 out of 5 ukuleles. And yeah, it is definitely worth purchasing for $22 if you can deal with the Hello Coco on the front. All right, thanks so much for joining me for this video. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.